This hunt is opening day in the zone of the state where we live. So this is our backyard hunting. And on opening day around here on public land, there are hundreds and hundreds of people. The traffic is heavy, and even spots where normally there aren't a lot of people typically are.
Okay, well, having trouble decoying them in, so I went and cut some willow branches and laid on the layout and stuck it in around the head and everything, and not much action going on right now. Just got buzzed, and then they headed off to parts unknown. They're coming back. Well, it rained most of the night, and the grass and the wood and everything is really wet. So I'm going to try to build a fire and make some coffee. And what I did was I gathered some wet wood and I carved the bark off. So I'll use some fire starter, and hopefully I can get it started with these shaved pieces. Well, I'm making some progress. The little damp twigs are starting to go. So we'll see if we can get some coffee made here pretty soon. Go.
I've been laying in that stupid layout blind all morning. And I walked back here just to get a granola bar, and 2 flocks of green-winged teal landed right in the decoys, one right after another.
So what are you going to do about it?
I'm going to go back and lay in the blind and not see any ducks again.
And I'm going to sit back here in the trees and I'm going to drink coffee.
And you're going to bring me a cup of coffee.
Boy, that's...
I mean, those ducks came right in, landed right in the decoys. A pair and then a flock of about 5.
That's the way it works.
Every time.
I told you, what did I ask you?
What? If I wanted to wait half an hour more?
Yeah, and what did you do?
I got up.
Uh-huh. Never do what your daddy asks you to do, advises you to do.
You didn't ask me.
I advised you.
You said, do you want to?
Yeah, well, that's sort of a soft advice.
Well, I guess we'll wait a little bit longer then.
All right, go get your butt in blind.
I guess I won't change anything about the decoys, seeing how those ducks landed right in them. You know this is not going to turn out well for me.
Go get your muddy self back in that blind, and I mean it.
This is not going to turn out well for me.
It's going to turn out well because I'm going to bring you some coffee. Let's see you squishing that mud getting in there.
Oh man.
It's a muddy mess out there, which is one of the main reasons why I haven't been volunteering to. There's 2 reasons why I haven't been volunteering to take his place. One is he ain't shooting any ducks, and 2 is it's a muddy mess. Alright. Okay, so Elliot is back in his layout. He's drinking his coffee, enjoying himself. No ducks. That's the way it goes sometimes.
So we had the whole place to ourselves on opening day, which was great. We didn't know what we'd expect with birds coming in. There was actually more bird movement than what I had even expected. They just wouldn't quite come all the way into the decoys, and most of the movement was early on, in the first 30 minutes before you really couldn't even see them anyway. So there were ducks moving, and we ended up with one, but for some they just didn't want to come right into the shoreline here. So, but we did avoid the crowds, and we had a real nice time out here, even though we only shot one. We'd rather just shoot one duck than have to deal with the hundreds of people and hunting 40, 50, 60 yards right beside you. So we chose this place for a specific reason, and we got pretty much what we wanted. We got isolation, so it was still fun and enjoyable, even though we only shot one duck. I want to talk just for a second about why we chose this particular location on opening day. This pool behind us is on public ground. That's all we hunt is public ground. And this is on a wildlife area. And normally this is a pumped pool, but we're in mild drought conditions right now. And so even with the pumping, the water has not been able to get at a high enough level in this pool for boats to be able to get on it. So I knew the back end of this was probably going to be unhunted, and if you want to get in here and hunt this pool, this back section, you have to use a boat, drive down the river, cross through the woods in the dark, which is not an easy thing, to not get lost in the woods and find your spot, and then haul all your gear in here. Now I really hoped I hadn't had a chance to scout this for a while, but from what I had seen, the pool had come up a little bit, and I really expected the water levels to be right coming up to the vegetation. I knew there was a chance that it was going to be a bare line shore, and so that's why we brought in the one layout line, just in case it was a bare line shore. Unfortunately, that's how it ended up. I knew there was ducks using this pool. I had talked to the wildlife guy a couple days ago, and he said there were absolutely ducks using the pool, and we had a lot of ducks moving around. It's just with the bare mud, in the shallow. I just couldn't get them in close enough to get quality shots on them. But plan almost worked out. We didn't see hardly anybody. This is what I'm not looking forward to carrying. All that mud. I gotta sling that on my back. Oh. Packing out of here. All right. She'll stay with you. So I just came around that corner of the pool, and I'm heading through this section. This tree is my marker tree to know when to cut in the woods. Finally got all the gear out and ready to be loaded.